Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. We're returning for another review of Succession, the final season. Episode 6 is now out on HBO Max, so check it out. There will be spoilers ahead. So Akram, what did you think of this new episode?
Oh my goodness, how intense was it? And Roman, man, his character is like evolving slowly to become Logan in a sense, or at least he's trying to be. Kendall, I honestly feel really sorry for Kendall. There were some moments that we'll cover that I'm like, oh man, I feel bad for him. And Shiv, a lot of you guys were saying in the comments that Shiv has her own game. Yeah, we know. Let's see if she'll fumble the bag. I hope not, we'll see. But yeah, pretty great episode.
Yeah, Roman should have applied for Celebrity Apprentice because that motherfucker is firing everybody left and right. He's probably like becoming friends with the Deep from The Boys. Like they're just gonna fire everybody.
Exactly.
But yeah, in this episode, it seems like the power has kind of gone to the Roy kids' heads a little bit. Maybe it's like a generational curse, right? Maybe they feel like they have to be their dad to really run things, which is sad because like. They were doing a really good job in the beginning. I feel like they had their own kind of rhythm, but now it seems like they're becoming a little more toxic in, how they run things. As we see, like, I think Kendall especially, like he kind of chews more than he can swallow. Like he has a lot of big plans, but I think he just wants everything like instant gratification, right? He doesn't really think about long-term effects, and Roman kind of just like he's kind of an enabler. He just like goes along with it. Shiv in this episode too, she's kind of like she's keeping her options open, right? She's kind of flirting with Matsson, but also kind of flirting with Tom too. I thought that was interesting.
Girl, oh my god,
that's some tea.
Yeah, I know the intensity just keeps going up and up and up, and I think it's really cool seeing Tom change a little bit, like in that dynamic. I think I like that some truths were revealed as well. Everything's kind of out there, and I wonder what they're going to do with it. I am still wondering what is going on with the diagnosis. So she has her own room, right? Apparently, like she said that, she's there to cry. I wonder if that's Cap, as you guys say, because... Is it like maybe we have to take it like, oh yeah, she's telling the truth, maybe it's like a therapist thing or whatnot, or maybe she is actually pregnant? I am really confused.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot that happened like 2 episodes ago or 1 episode ago. I was like, oh wait, yeah, that actually did. Like she did have a phone call with her doctor. Yeah, they kind of just threw that at, like as a side note. So I'm wondering like, what's up with that?
Or unless that is the therapist thing, unless that's just how we're supposed to take it. Like, oh, okay, she's like talking to some doctor or whatever, and she needs space to cope, like in private, because she needs to build her wall, but she's kind of crumbling underneath. The Shiv is an interesting character because since the very beginning, she always has her own thing. She doesn't, and she's on a different political field, leads a different type of lifestyle. So she's always trying to step away from the family. So it's really interesting to see her come back. And I think that pulls on the heartstrings a little bit too much and pulls on past traumas a little bit too much. And she needs to find a way to, I guess, be stronger. Cope. Cope too. Yeah, because it's hard because you had to put on this mask. So now I understand that. So it could be like she's talking to a psychologist or whatever. But yeah, I really do feel like we all have to remember still that Shiv also sometimes bites more than she could chew. And there's a lot of people who don't respect her. So she'll probably be screwed over by Matsson, even if you guys were saying she did the kill list or whatnot, which is true. I don't know. I wouldn't trust Matsson either. I think now it's almost like Matsson has the nuclear codes and everyone's trying to rush and everyone, when they're back in the corner, they could bite you, right? So that's why it kind of feels like really intense these past couple of episodes. I
like this episode especially because I thought it was interesting seeing how each of the siblings kind of have their own way of coping with this loss, because really we haven't had time to really digest Logan's passing. I feel like it's been just so immediate with the takeover of Waystar. It's like it's all business now. It's like they don't really have time to really grieve, right? And I like this episode because we see like they have their own way of grieving. Like Shiv, she actually has to schedule her own grieving moments, right, in between like meetings and stuff. And Roman, he's kind of like playing his father's like quotes in his head, like on his phone, and Kendall. I thought that was interesting that they brought the video of Logan in the beginning. At first, I thought that was like, oh, is this like a flashback or something? But it's actually, I thought it was a neat trick that they did. They actually brought footage of well, it relates to the episode because it was with this Living Plus product launch.
Yeah.
So this was something that Logan had decided to pitch a long time ago, but I guess just never ran through with it. So we got to see like footage of him, like I guess his final words in a way. So,
or for Living Plus, just for Living Plus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How interesting is that, and how sad is that the only time they can hear some words of kindness from Logan is through a highly edited version of just that thing that they were doing. That's pretty sad, especially I kind of cringe because it does feel kind of weird seeing your dad that he's dead. It's cut up. Right. Kudos to Greg. If I were to edit that video, man, I would have added some dubstep, maybe some people twerking in the background.
I trust him more than the Riverside guy.
We don't talk about the Riverside guy, okay? Let's not go there, right? That's for a different video. But yeah, what are your thoughts on just I'd say the setup was interesting. Obviously, in the beginning, Roman fired like one of the executives from that movie studio. That had happened. We already talked about this power play. But what do you think of the actual presentation? Because that's a big one.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I feel like I think there was a miscommunication between like Roman and Kendall. I think, like I said before, like Kendall, he tends to go all out and he doesn't really consider like what he's doing. He's just like all show, but like at the end of the day, like, is this really like a smart move on his part? Mm-hmm. And I think Roman is kind of like, he's kind of like an analyst or analyticist, whatever you want to call it. He really like digests the numbers in a way. And I think he didn't want to say no to Kendall because I feel like this was like Kendall's like big moment too. Like he was going to come out and have this cool like product launch and everything, but it was, I guess it was just too late. Yeah, it was just so funny watching that whole like that play, like when they're building the houses.
Oh yeah,
stuff. It's like nobody can really like say no to that. That's why I say like the power is really like going to their head, right? They're just they want everybody to like do everything for them like instantaneously, even Greg too in this episode was so interesting that we saw like even he's kind of turning into this very like asshole type of boss, right? He just wants it now. It's like even if it's impossible, right? They just can't say no to them.
Yeah. That whole thing was really interesting. I think they're gonna do something really bad now after seeing. I mean, we kind of seen some seeds sown for that in the other episodes, but now it kind of seems like, oh, they're gonna mess it up now. Abandon ship, right? And there's some people who don't want to be screwed over, like Carl. That scene was pretty interesting. That Carl was really
very ballsy,
really ballsy, yeah, because you don't have Logan around, so he's gonna say his piece.
Yeah, it's interesting because like there was like a lot of animosity between the old guard and the kids, right? I feel like now it's because like Logan has such a shadow over the old lieutenants. It's like now that he's gone, it's like they don't really have anyone to fear. Because the kids at the end of the day, they're just the kids, right? They're not really Logan. So it's like they can kind of say shit to them now and get away with it. But I think what do you think of that, like that dialogue between like Jerry and Roman? Because it feels like it was kind of disrespectful in a way.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see it from Roman's point of view. Like he kind of wants to be like respected in a way, but I think he just went about it the wrong way.
Well, I think so too. I also want to just note that I think their hairstylists in the show are like really great. They pay attention to detail because Jerry's hairstyle has changed, right? She looks now like she's really, it's like a simple knot there, and she just really is like trying to work as hard as she can. And I think when you think about that little detail, even though it may seem very small, but it's, Jerry does a lot of work for these people, right? She's the one that's there all the time. I think the siblings should definitely try to learn more from Jerry. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I feel because Jerry was trying to help out Roman since the beginning, right? And he asked for some advice, granted, but they had a really weird relationship. And in a way, He was always inappropriate with like the comments, but that's just Roman. He'll say like some shit to his sister even, right? So that's just him. He's an oddball. But Jerry kind of was like turned on, and she just wanted to ignite the stove, if you will. And it was like, let's see what will boil up. And the fact that Roman did it that way, it was kind of like,
I took it as like he took it, or Roman was like playtime's over. I'm not like a little boy anymore. Like now I'm actually like running the company. So it's like, what we had before was fun and all, but like now I'm the boss and you kind of have to listen to me, right?
I think he just wants, I think he's so fed up with, in the first season, they made memes of Logan in the hospital, and he wanted people to go after. He really doesn't like memes, right? We got some foreshadowing of that in season 1, and he doesn't like to be made fun of, really, even if he's a really funny guy. He's actually really sensitive, but it's weird because he does in a way kind of want to take punishment. So like, again, these people, they're always in this big high-rise building, but wherever they go, it's an echo chamber. And his echo chamber, he kind of wants to live in that misery for some reason. You know what I mean? Again, it's like at the end of the day, this is a game for everyone to play, and they're going to keep playing it because that's it. The game is what matters. It's not the actual success. It's the game that matters. And so when he told her that, I think he was just fed up with that discussion with Matsson on top of the mountain, and he had a lot of stuff going through his head, and everyone's kind of doubting him. So that's why he kind of took it out on Jerry, some in his eyes, maybe like some poor defenseless woman. But there's another side to it, that she's a strong woman and she's the one that's actually helping him. So that's why he felt kind of bad. He was unsure. But again, you said that Roman, in a sense, is an enabler. Well, I think all his siblings are also enablers, because Kendall was like, yeah, let's do it, man. But again, who's the odd one out is Shiv. And I think they all have to really come together to make this work. If they do not, if communication is just not there, like it was in one of the episodes, when they were in the penthouse and they were all trying to discuss and they were together. That's one of the points where they were like really together. All right, why not do that again? Because Madsen's gonna come in and he's gonna screw everyone over. Okay, so let me get, and that's my printer, sorry. Let me get your thoughts also near the end where Matsson tweeted out something. I thought that was really awkward.
That whole speech was awkward. That was like us in season 1 of our podcast trying to make a speech. But it still had like funny moments too. Like I think Kendall's a good bullshitter. Like at the end of the day, he can like start off weak but then come out strong. And it's just funny watching this because I kept thinking of like Disney Investor Day, and when we covered Disney Plus Day.
I only got like 2 views. Oh my gosh, for nothing. That was a shitty thing. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it's like everybody was like cringing, but it's all an act, right? And I think like he still manages to sell these big ideas, right? Albeit it's going to be consequential because I think like I said, he chewed more than he can swallow, and like Tom said, he basically like promised like eternal life. So. How will this play out business-wise? I think it could be detrimental. It could cost a lot of money. And this whole thing too, like Matsson like really didn't want this real estate product launch to go through. And Shiv was kind of like working in the background too to like cut this short, or at least like tell him to like retract his tweet, right? I thought that was interesting actually, because it's like, I guess like Shiv is like in a way kind of like the liaison, or like she's kind of keeping Kendall from, overdoing it or overstepping, right?
Yeah, but I feel like Madsen's doing some pussy shit though, because how are you gonna text like their sister? You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me text your sister just to mess with them, but I'll tell them it's fine. Like, if you guys want to fight, just hit each other, do something. Like, stop with this pussy shit, because what's gonna happen is Shiv, she wants to make sure all options are open. And so she might screw something, because you got to stand firm at some point. And so she might stand on the wrong side, unfortunately. And so that's why I am kind of worried for Shiv. So yeah, I mean, next episode, we do see like some party that apparently Logan back in the day invited Matsson to. That's going to be heavy.
Interesting.
Now, final thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on the final scene where we see Shiv with Tom and they're discussing some stuff. We see Roman being sent a meme, and we also see Kendall enjoying the beach. Let me get your thoughts on that.
Well, I thought kudos to Tom for finally standing up and saying what he really feels, because when he said that shit, I felt like, yeah, that was so true what he said, because it's like at the end of the day, it's all about money. Like, no matter what, Shiv thinks of Tom, like he kind of like called her a hypocrite in a way. It's like, well, are you really gonna leave, right? Are you gonna leave everything behind, right? So in a way, it was kind of like a heartwarming moment. I think it'll be short-lived though, because I feel like he was just like a shoulder to cry on, and maybe that's why she kind of warmed up. But then maybe they'll realize this is like a bad idea. Maybe like they should have just went through with this divorce. I don't know, especially because she's kind of like warming up to Matsson too. Roman, he's like, I feel like he's kind of falling from grace a little bit now. Like this episode like showed like he's starting to become like his dad too much, and maybe that'll be detrimental, to Waystar. And Kendall, I thought was interesting, because I kept thinking of the what was the episode where he actually like attempted suicide in the pool,
right? And
now he's like swimming in the ocean. I thought it was kind of like an echo in a way. Like he feels like so liberated now.
Yeah, that's actually a great point for Kendall. Yeah, for Roman, I'm like, he should have went up there with his brother, to be honest. And I think in a way, he kind of regretted that, because everybody was like this, and he left the room earlier. Because again, I think Kendall has good intentions. He wants to be, I forgot the name from, Russell Crowe's character from Gladiator. He wants to like be the hero, Maximus, like he did the sacrifice already. And now he finally has like a little taste of that. So he feels that gratitude, as you mentioned earlier. But Roman wasn't there. I think Roman should have been there. I think he received some bad advice. Even if it's all bullshit, he should have just still been there, because now like it's kind of inconsistent.
Right.
So it's really hard to run a business when everyone has like different philosophies on things. And so Roman, again, he doesn't feel as respected. So he loves to live. He's kind of like a masochist in a way, right? So he's listening to his own dead father saying that he's like some small dick, whatever, thing. And he keeps listening to it. Number one is because that's his father's voice. He misses his father's voice. But how perverted is that he's also listening to his father belittle Roman? That's really interesting. And I think now Roman maybe will try to approach more aggressively moving forward, and perhaps fire some more people. And I think that'll be a big problem for Kendall. And perhaps maybe that is actually good that Siobhan is keeping some space. So, yeah, complicated mess. Again, it most likely will come to a head, and most likely will be pretty bad news by the end of this series. But yeah, what would you rate this episode?
This episode wasn't as powerful as the last couple episodes for me, so I'll probably give it 8 out of 10, but I still think it had a lot of powerful elements in it, especially bringing Brian Cox back. For certain scenes, I think just kind of like echoed, it's kind of like Logan's ghost in a way, like talking to the kids. I thought it was really powerful scenes. The music and the audio in this episode was really good. And yeah, I can't wait to see what next episode brings. But how would you rate it?
I actually would rate it a 10 out of 10 for me. I had a lot of fun. It was like a lot of tea. If I had to be really, really analytical, as you said, for Roman, then I probably would give it a 9 out of 10. But as just enjoying the show and seeing the drama and seeing the character shifts and just the acting, I think was phenomenal. And I can't wait to see the next episode. That's the thing. They keep you like guessing. Again, I really don't know if Shiv is actually pregnant. I mean, she probably needs a therapist, whatever. But there's still a chance. Maybe we're not just talking bullshit. Maybe she's actually pregnant. I really enjoyed this episode. I think I would give it a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I'm being generous. Yeah. So
guys, let us know what you think we'll see for our next episode, and thank you for sticking around for this episode, for this review. Check out all our other playlists. We're still covering Succession, and we're also covering Barry. We'll be doing a review for the next episode right after this. But yeah, Akram, take us away.
Yeah, my goodness, are we so busy? We have May the 4th coming up pretty soon. Ooh. Star Wars Day, baby. And we have Original Trilogy Revisited for the 3. We have another kids show. Long time ago, we did a Teletubbies review, so we're going to have something for Star Wars. I think it's like, not Tales of Jedi, something else. Young Jedi. Yeah, so we're going to have that. And yeah, we're going to have plenty of movie reviews coming up pretty soon. I know we owe you guys Evil Dead, so don't worry. It's coming like in a second week of May or something like that.
And speaking of zombies, Akram is still working on his video essay, so stay tuned for that. That'll be coming around the corner real soon. But yeah, thank you guys. Check us out whatever platform you're listening to, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can check us out on Instagram as well for updates. But thank you guys so much, and until then, fuck off.
Fuck off. See you guys.